All right. I would like to welcome everybody here today. Well, I just want to let you know that I am not using a script today. This is going to be completely freelanced, right off my head, with as much, um, with much to talk about. Now, this is going to be kind of weird. I'm trying to make sure that I reach every single one of you as I try to explain some things. The reason why I'm doing this as a freelance is because all day today I have been thinking and pondering and wondering what to talk about in today's broadcast. Um, but let me go first and let me introduce myself. My name is Keith Langford. I'm the host of the show of DKLJ's political news, basically, where we talk about a lot of the things that are going around on with the nation of the United States, local and state governments, um, and other items. Now, first, let me just say that on the recall for the state of California that's going on right now, the recall effort has reached the 1.8 million mark on their website. They are trying right now to get to the 2 million mark, and things are looking pretty good on it. It looks like they're going to be able to get it and get going on the recall. Gavin Newsom is watching the watching the signatures being gathered and everything, and he's still getting quite scared right now. But the thing is, I don't see that he's going to be the governor of the state of California much longer. I think they have all that they need and that they can get the recall to go through. The other thing I would like to talk about is what transpired this past weekend. In the wee hours of the morning on Saturday morning, the House of Representatives had passed a bill that 90% of it doesn't even coincide with the efforts to help prevent COVID-19. And I am not kidding. There are things in the bill that I don't even understand why they're in the bill. The one thing I do know for sure that did not make it in the bill was the employment hourly rate of $15 per hour did not make it into the bill. It was taken out by the House of Representatives because they got told that it is a matter that has to be fully looked into and make sure that it's the right thing to do. But what did make it into the bill was this. First thing on the thing is Ways and Means, which is a total of amount of $923 billion. This is what it consists of. I'm not going to read the whole list. I'm going to read parts of it. One, it will provide $1,400 per person in a stimulus check. So that means, let's say if you have 5 members in your family, it would be you, your spouse, and your children. You could be getting $1,400 per person, times that by the number of people in your household, which would be a total of $7,000. If there's just one person, just you alone, that means it's only going to be $1,400. But this is all based upon 2020 tax return information, or it could be your 2019 tax return information. Another thing that got put into the bill. Oh, by the way, that the stimulus checks is a total amount of $422 billion. The next thing is an extended unemployment programs through August 29th with a $400 per week supplemental. This is a total of $246 billion. The expanded child tax credit, the child care tax credit, and earned income tax credit, mostly for 1 year. That is $143 billion. That made it into this bill. Now I'm going to go down a little and go to another part of this bill. Another category they put into this bill is known as the oversight and reform. This is a total of $350 billion, which is kind of weird. Why would you want to put something this much into this bill? But they did. I don't know. I do not understand why. But this is what two of the categories are in this category. List two of the items here. One provides money for state governments. This is what everybody's totally against, to my point of view. I'm even against it. It allows red states, these are states that are ran by Republican governors. These states are to help out states, blue states, or known as states that are run by Democratic governors, to get them financially reset. So let's say the state of Florida would have to help out the state of New York with their financial problems. Or let's take another state. Let's say the state of Utah has to help out the state of California. This is what this part of the bill is talking about. Now, I can understand if a state went through a natural disaster or any type of disaster in this matter. Like, for instance, the state of Texas. The state of Texas right now needs a lot of help because of the fact is they went through what is known as a freezing cycle. Everything was frozen. Like it froze the windmills, it froze everything. Like even the solar panels didn't even work because there was so much clouds in the area, and the whole entire state went through a freezing. Now they had below average temperatures, which is really, really rare for the state of Texas, because the state of Texas is quite warm to live in. Right now, the state of New York all the way to the state of Maine, they were going through a freezing just not too long ago, this past weekend. But that's what this part of the bill is talking about. That red states are going to be working, helping out blue states. Blue states that are actually been having financial problems because of a lot of the lockdowns that these governors have implemented because of the fact of what was going on last year. Another thing in this category, oh, and by the way, the amount for that is $195 billion, which is kind of ridiculous to my point of view. Is this. It creates a paid COVID leave for federal workers and their policies. This is about $400 million. I don't know what this is about. I wish I knew it. The article that I'm reading right now does not specify what's going on with this part of the bill, but this is what they want to put towards to help out. Now, the next thing, I'm actually really for this because this next category is called education and labor. I'm very for education. I think we need to have our children into schools right now, especially having our kids in schools, because quite frankly, to my point of view, we need our children to go back to school to get educated. They do not need to be at home on a laptop or with a tablet or at a computer getting taught math, science, language arts, social studies, stuff like that. They need to be out of school to learn all this, so that way they can have a more one-on-one with their teacher, not to just, oh, here you go, here's your stuff, please get it done. I'll do a lesson when I can. Or they give you a lesson and they make the student do what they need to do to get their grades. The state of California, even at this time, almost 80% or more of their students are failing. And this is sad. But the funny thing is, if you go to any other place in California, like let's say your politicians who have their kids in private schools, they're able to go back to school and everything. They can do whatever they want. But those that, you know, are working class citizens or low income citizens, those that have to provide, that have to put their children in public schools, those students are not allowed to go to school. So to me, this is a double standard, and it's not fair. To me, if you're going to lock down the schools, lock down all schools, all academies, everything. It's not fair if you say your kid's allowed to go to school, but yours is not. To me, if you're going to have academies open or private schools, all schools should be opened up. But we'll get into that. The amount for this part of the bill is $290 billion. The first one is provides funding for from grades of kindergarten to the 12th grade for education. This is $129 billion, which is cool. Go for it. Let's get it done. Let's provide more and more education for our children. It also provides funding for colleges and universities of $40 billion. To me, they should get less than that. Universities and colleges, they get their funds mostly by the students that perform their tuition and book buying and or room and board at the schools. And there are some universities, by the way, that do make their students pay for room and board. But the thing is, it's not fair if some of these private universities and private colleges are getting a bailout. And that's what this is. This is mostly nothing but a bailout for colleges and universities, and also let alone blue states. Other things, it increases the federal minimum wage, which has actually been taken out of the bill, by the way. This is what's been taken out. The increasing the federal minimum wage to $15 by 2025. Okay, 2025 is like literally 4 years from now. Why is it in here? It doesn't need to be in here. Let's throw it out. Okay, and by the way, that's $54 billion of our tax money. Also provides support for child care, grants to children care provides, and Head Start. Cool. I'm down with it. Let's keep it going. You know, preschools, Head Start students, all that. I'm down with it. Let's make sure that these young children get the proper education before they get to kindergarten, before they get to a public school or private school. I'm down with it. It also lists some other items. By the way, the child care part for this is $40 billion. Now, this is where some things are probably not going to make you cringe. It might make you mad. It might make you even wondering, why is it even in here? This is called the Energy and Commerce. There's $122 billion put in this department, into this section. It provides increasing funding for testing for contract tracing of $50 billion. There's actually one in here that has a negative number here. And this is funny. You're going to love this. Remove the cap limit how much drug manufacturers must rebate to Medicaid for drugs that have increased quickly in price. And this is a negative $18 billion. Now, why is this number in a negative? I don't know. And quite frankly, why is it even in here? Because quite frankly, I don't even know why. If it's going to be a negative number, that means it's not going to work. Another thing is that it allows states to expand Medicaid coverage to prisoners close to release and for pregnant and postpartum women for 5 years. Okay, I like the second part of it, but I don't like the first. To me, why should my tax dollars be put to benefit how can I put this in good words? Benefit those coming out of prison. My tax dollars is already being put to prisons as it is. You know, I don't know if you know about this, but there are when you have someone put in prison, they're actually living scot-free. Your tax dollars provides everything for them, even though that they're in prison. Now, don't get me wrong, prison is not a good place to be. You know, there are some really bad people that do get put in prison, like your murderers, rapists, sex offenders, child abusers, all of them. But if they want Medicaid coverage for prisoners that are coming out, to me, they need to make sure they can be able to get a job, have their work provide the benefits that they need to have so they can survive. The next part, this is going to be fun for you, is the transportation and infrastructure. None of this in the whole entire section of the bill pertains to COVID-19 or helping people with the stimulus package. There is $90 billion in this part of the bill. And one of the things that this is going to help is this: grants to Amtrak and other transportation related spending. This is $2 billion. How is that supposed to help with COVID-19? It provides a grants to communities under economic stress. Okay, I can understand that. There are some communities, some cities, towns, villages, suburbs that need assistance. There's $3 billion here. To me, that should be higher. Provides grants to airports and aviation manufacturers, basically like Boeing or United Airlines, American Airlines, Southwest Airlines, those type of transportation type items. But it also provides grants to transportation agencies, you know, like Caltran for the state of California, which is the California Transportation Department, and other departments as well. This, I do not know why that you made it into the thing, but there was money for Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi's district for Silicon Valley that doesn't need it whatsoever. Silicon Valley is one of the richest areas in the state of California, and they're getting money to build, I guess, like a subway system or something like that. I don't know. The financial services on part of the bill is $71 billion. I'm not going to get into that. There, it talks about like rental assistance, grants for airlines, and used defense production acts. These are from anywhere from as low as $10 billion to as high as $30 billion. Now we're going to get into some really good parts, small business part of the bill. And this is going to be my last one because it's getting pretty late for me. But the small business part of the bill is a total of $50 billion. It provides grants for restaurants and bars that have lost revenue from during the year of 2020 when COVID-19 hit the hardest around March of last year, which is where we're still going through right now. That's $25 billion. $15 billion is being provided additional for EIDL advance grants to up to $10,000 per business, which is going to help them out to refinance the people that lost money during the pandemic as well. It also allows $7 billion for the PPP loans that's provided through the Small Business Administration, or SBA, to expand the eligibility and to certain nonprofit and digital media companies, like for instance YouTube or other companies as well, like Google. And there's other policies as well, and that's another $3 billion. The PPP loans, which is, I guess, the protective pay loan, that's a $7 billion thing. Now, I know that this has been quite weird to hear all these things, but this is straight fact. This is coming. Most of this is in the bill right now. The Senate right now is debating it, and there's a lot of people that do not like this bill. When the House went for the vote, even though they did pass it, it still has to go through the Senate. But during the initial vote from the House, there were two Democrats that did not want this bill to pass. All the Republicans did not want this bill to pass. Once it goes to the Senate, it's a 50-50 split. There's no way, and I'm serious, no way that this bill is going to pass. They're going to have to rework out this bill and redo it. And they're going to have to throw a lot of things out, because there's a lot of things in here that does not provide anything to help with COVID-19. Now, I'm going to close with one more thing here. I want to thank all our first responders, all our nurses and doctors that have been fighting this thing since day one. These people have been putting their lives on the line. They've been working hard and tirelessly. Thank you all for your diligent work. Thank you for keeping us safe. Keep up the good work. I also want to thank Johnson & Johnson for coming out with a 1-dose COVID vaccine. I would also want to thank the other 2 companies that help come out with the vaccine as well. Keep up the good work. Keep on pushing forward. And I want to end with this. Even though I do not like our current president, he did say something really, really nice today, and a very, very positive thing. And that's being able to get more people vaccinated by the end of May. I mean, I'm talking about having 100 million adults vaccinated by the end of May. I think that's a goal we should all strive for. I think we all should go for it. And I hope that we can help our first responders, our doctors, and our nurses who are working tirelessly and are really weary right now. I want to thank you all. Have a good night. By the way, there was no comments on the last broadcast that was done last week. I do hope there are some this week on this, because I know a lot of people are going to want to know why some of these items are in this bill. By the way, you can look up the items of the bill on crfb.org under blog. It's called "What is in the $1.9 trillion House COVID Relief Bill?" I don't think this is going to pass the Senate, so I do hope that everyone has a good night and have a pleasant week. I will be on again next week to give you some news about something else.